Three, two, one. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Just Learn Crypto Show. Today we're here with Toma, who's the founder of Yung.Bet. He's going to tell us a little bit about this project. We're going to talk a little bit about crypto. Toma, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. I enjoy the community and I really like the format of the show. So
Thanks,
thanks for
man.
having me on.
Sweet, man. I appreciate that. I mean, I just try to keep it laid back and, I don't come from a tech background. So if I don't understand something in a way, if you explain it in a way that I don't really get it, I'm going to ask you to try and explain it in a more simple way. And then I think a lot of the people that watch this show appreciate that because, we kind of dumb it down for people so that you can get almost like an elevator pitch out about your product, service, or company. So tell me, really quickly, man, like what do you do in the space before we dive into Yung.Bet? Why don't we talk a little bit about you and like what you're doing in the crypto space right now?
I started out in the crypto space, sort of accidentally, actually.
Okay.
I was actually studying a lot of economic theory at my college, and I actually ended up running into some anarchical capitalists because we were one of the few Mises Austrian School of Economics. I didn't realize how far out this was until later on, but ended up starting a nonprofit with a couple of my friends, looking at like alternative forms of governance, like free private cities, charter cities, startup societies, a lot of different things. They have different terms for it, but they all have pretty much the same, like anarcho libertarian ideas of, hey, how can we avoid being under a state, or if there is an apparatus of governance without a state, you can still voluntarily, interact with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how I got into the whole classic, oh well, without government, who's going to build your roads / how are you going to or how are you going to pay for it? And so it always naturally turned into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So that's how I got exposed. And eventually, after we had a couple conferences, I realized, the policies and thought theories that we're promoting will probably take a couple generations. However, the technology infrastructure is something we can do in a couple years, and that can have a more immediate impact in the next 5 to 10 years on almost 1 billion people. First, this will probably affect 10 billion people in the next 50 years.
Yeah. Cool, man. So that's really cool. It's I talked to a lot of people that got into crypto from, the MLM space. Someone brought them to a meetup for one of those, some sort of Ponzi scheme back in the day. And it's cool to hear that, people with, who do have discussions about, libertarianism and anarchism and stuff like that. And I love to see how they kind of go hand in hand now with crypto. Like a lot of, you'll see a lot of meetups now and even, the Acapulco conference, which, is I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it's Jeff Berwick's.
Yeah, I'm familiar. I just met Jeff actually a couple of weeks at Anarcho, Philadelphia.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, sweet. Yeah, I wanted to go to that. A lot of cool people were there. Ken was there, and it looked like a good time. But are you planning on going to Acapulco this year?
Possibly, conferences and everything, they just happen so often, unless I'm in a complete chill mode, then I probably wouldn't be going.
It looks like a good combination of like chilling on the beach, but also hanging out with some crypto people and some anarchists.
Yeah, I'm right now at the current period where I've just got to be heads down, just been building and working on the product. And so hopefully we'll be out there in the in 2020, probably late 2020, we'll probably increase more marketing efforts.
Yeah.
But right now it's still a pretty early stage for us.
Hey man, nothing wrong with putting in the work at the well, I say at the beginning, but when did Yung.Bet start out? So tell me a little bit about this project, what it's all about, and why I should use it.
Well, it's pretty much an online profit sharing casino. And so these are the popular ones built on EOS and Tron. And people wonder why are these casinos getting so much volume and why they're able to produce so much coin. It's because it's a simple model. If I was playing a slot machine on Ethereum and I wanted to bet $1, it would cost me almost 50 cents in gas fees to do that. On EOS or Tron, which is pretty much a carbon copy of EOS, but Don't tell Justin's son this. I actually like him.
I don't think he watches my podcast. It's okay.
I mean, I personally like Sun. Actually, I think he's, you know, one of probably the most genius marketers out there in crypto.
Yeah.
So, he is what he is.
Hey man, we're here talking about him, so he's doing something right.
Yeah, exactly. But so these markets are allowing these games to happen on EOS, and EOS is probably just like casino games is a very simple way because no matter what, people will always play these games. But this is for all games, a simple card game, simple NFTs, all these actions. If you really think about it, almost every game is a transaction in itself. You know, you are transacting something to send to another character.
Mm-hmm.
Like so many in almost every modern game released, how many of them have their own economies?
Yep.
You know, they have Fortnite V-Bucks. They sold almost $1.3 billion in V-Bucks.
Yep.
I don't know about you, but that sounds like a real currency to me.
Yeah.
And so if it has value, it has value.
So I'm not a big gamer. What are some of the other games that have come out with currencies and have done as well as like that Fortnite thing?
Well, I think there's like unintended, there's like even unintended currencies. People, the concept of a currency or anything of a value, you call it a token, you call it a V-Buck or whatever. Look at CSGO. CSGO skins are probably, you know, you have secondary sites that are doing almost $60 million in volume off just skins.
Yeah.
You have boxes. And they get around all these policies of gambling or whatever it may be. But people will always gamble. So in reality, the only way you can actually stop this model of exploitive gaming is actually just make a fairer model that's actually equitable. So I think these online profit sharing casinos are actually showing a new model of, I think, the next ICO boom or whatever you want to call it are actually going to be DAOs, which are what these organizations are.
Yeah.
Because eventually it'll be almost like MakerDAO, where only the token holders will be able to vote on the community. Hey, which game should we add? Will this affect us? Should we support this currency, delist this, or delist that? And the only way you're able to receive these tokens are by playing the game. So the only way you can actually show incentive into the project is you have to buy into the project.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, obviously you always have cases of being 51 attacked, but, you know, if you're willing to buy up all the tokens just to, you know, take over the DAO, then you're probably a vested stakeholder. And, you know, you probably should have more representation.
Mm-hmm.
Because if someone else isn't willing to put their investment in, then they probably shouldn't try to vote on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's cool, man. I really do believe that the gaming industry and the crypto industry are going to hold hands and walk to the promised land because they just do mesh so well together. There's so many, I mean, for one, like a lot of people in the gaming industry have been hacked, have been, you know, ripped off in some way up from gaming, and they want to have like the transparency of crypto and blockchain. And, you know, now we're seeing NFTs coming out. We're seeing, I mean, you can tokenize anything now.
Well, I think eventually, you know, it's going to be, our overall philosophy is actually, we try to stay away from the philosophical fights of cryptocurrency. Is EOS decentralized? Is Ethereum going to scale? These are not really concerns to us as a private company.
Mm-hmm.
As a private company making a gaming platform, all we can do is, what are the as an engineer, I have to think, what are the tools that I have now, and how can I use them to solve the problems that I have now?
Yeah.
And so a lot of things aren't ready yet. I don't think we're ready for a lot of things, but for it's basically, this is going to be the starting wave of mass adoption, because these crypto games that are going to be coming out, most of the thing is crypto games understand that people don't really care about decentralization, because in games they don't care if it's made in Unity or Unreal Engine 3.
Mm-hmm.
They're not fanboys of software. They're like, what is the coolest game possible?
Mm-hmm.
Like, does it look cool? Does it bring me joy? Am I getting dopamine, serotonin out of it? So eventually, imagine, all these games, instead of you wasting all your money, you might be, just because you are been playing even without putting monetary money in, you've committed gaming time, and it's not just some grind to, impossible grind. Because if you think the impossible grind is too much, you as a stakeholder can then vote on the difficulty of that. And
Hmm.
in reality, in first world countries, it'll eventually allow games where you might play a game, and then just because you play it daily, and every month you might earn anywhere between $5 to $16 or up to $20 a month. So, you might just got a six-pack of beer because you play your favorite video game. However, someone in the Philippines directly, where that dollars can actually be converted into their local currency, that's actually almost an income in itself. So eventually gaming will be a job in itself to support these mini
So,
economies.
I mean, where's that money coming from though? That's paying these gamers $5 to $16 a day. Like, where does that money come from? From just from the market, or is this like value of the coin going up? Is this?
Well, it's of course, so it's a market, it's a value speculation. So the point of our token is you can't even buy or sell it. We're not going to offer it to sell for at least a year and a half. And that's to prevent whales from coming in and hyper speculating. Then,
Mhm.
five people can just come in and throw a couple thousand Bitcoin. And instead of, if we give 50% of our profits to our token holders, right?
Yeah.
And then the only way you can receive our token is by playing our game. We call it, almost, instead of proof of work, it's proof of play.
Okay.
So then, five whales could come in and dump all their money in, and instead of us distributing most of our profits to our players, it's only to five whales, basically.
Okay.
Uh, so then, to prevent that, is you have to buy it. I mean, you cannot buy the token. You have to just play the game. So even if a whale wanted to come and accumulate as many tokens for speculation, they have to wait in line and play just like everyone else.
Okay. So how long has? So tell me like a little bit more about Yung.Bet. When you're the founder of Yung.Bet, right?
Yeah.
When did you start this project? Was there, where was the aha moment for it?
I was playing these games myself, and I just realized that they don't have a long-term vision and the goal of what they have. I don't think they are really trying to scale past the crypto community. I really want this product to actually not just be a crypto product, but eventually transform. We're trying to actually focus on the user experience to the point where no one will even realize it's a crypto product. It's just profit sharing, and they get kickbacks or whatever it may be. In their mind, it's a token. And
So
whether they
how does
ever,
the profit sharing side of that work then?
the profit share.
Yeah. Like when you say
So,
profit share casino or games, how does that, like, just
so,
explain that a little more to me.
so the overall idea, the math is this: for EOS, for every one EOS, you gain 8 Young tokens.
Okay.
And we redistribute 50% of our profits to all Young token holders. So the idea is, mathematically, I bet 1,000 times on our dice game at 97% probability, the highest chance that you can win. It's the lowest reward, but you're not really trying to play the game, but you're trying to accumulate more Young token.
So basically to interact with Yung.Bet, you need to exchange either EOS. Is it just EOS?
So right now we're supporting EOS tokens only on
Okay.
Scatter, but eventually we'll launch into other multi-chain.
So you go on your website, you throw in a couple EOS, and then in exchange you're getting 8. You said 8?
Well, no, you don't throw in. So we never take control of your
Okay.
funds ever. So every time you interact with one of the games, you'll get a request to your Scatter wallet, and you'll authorize every transaction. So you'll have to sign everything. So we never are custodial over our users'
So
token.
every like anytime you make a move on your website, you're gonna have to approve it on the Scatter wallet.
Yes, for most things, eventually we'll have it where you can check white label it, and
Okay.
you won't have to do it. But it's also a safety thing for us, so we don't want to have any custody over your wallets,
Yeah, and I
over
think
any
that's a good
funds.
thing because it seems like the kind of thing where, eventually you could, fake your death and exit scam when a lot of people have money on it. And, that's how you see a lot of exit scams happening from companies is, they're custodianing people's money. They're holding on to their crypto, and then eventually that piece of cheese just gets too tempting, and hence you
Well,
end up.
no, that's why we've, go with the DAO model. You can audit all the contracts. You can
Mhm.
see where everything's going
Yeah.
and where the fair distribution is.
Yes.
So,
So how long's the website been live now?
we've gone through multiple versions of it. So we've gone through different domains. I'm very terrible at naming things. The problem about being an entrepreneur is you might be able to get a good product, but naming anything, whether it's like a Boolean file or anything, it's impossible.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
But
So,
we've been live since about the summer,
okay.
and we've been getting ready for launch. We're trying to work with some regulatory uh, compliance. And because the ultimate vision for the platform is we're raising money currently now. I've developed the original MVP and, was finally able to onboard some engineers recently. And so we're trying to scale it up now. One person can only do so much.
Absolutely, man.
So the idea is actually we really wanted to go into our main spot is we think is esports betting. We
Okay.
think esports betting is a very prime lucrative spot because of one single problem: remittance. In a typical sports betting app, if I was doing just soccer betting, I was in the UK, I would go to a William Hill, a very UK site, to go make a bet. If I was in Spain watching Champions League there, I'd go on a Spanish betting site.
Hmm.
And that's a very odd thing if you think about it, but that's also because of all their payment gateways. You're taking euros or you're taking pounds, and that's where you have issues. But esports is very difficult. Like others, like NFL, NBA, you're stuck in the US. You can take US markets only.
Hmm.
But if I have a League of Legends, Dota 2, CSGO, Counter Strike, any of those tournaments, you're going to have fans from just all the servers. It's North
Hmm.
America, EU, Korea, China. They have dedicated servers alone. So all of them, they have so much technology that it's impossible for them to support all the betters from all their fans. But if your system's built decentralized from the very beginning and you use crypto to facilitate all your platforms and it's automated, then you don't have to worry about any of that.
Boom, borderless, bitches. And that's the beauty of crypto, man, is that, so I mean, obviously then there's no KYC or anything on your site, right? You don't need to prove because you're using a decentralized currency.
Well, eventually we will KYC anything above 1500 just
Okay.
because, we will be getting our online sports betting license.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and
So
you
we
you want
will,
to avoid AML issues for sure.
but you have to think about this. The market research we've done, the highest overlap is between esports and crypto users. They're the
Okay.
same age demographic between 25 to 35. Uh, and the highest overlay of, young males, they're a crypto holder. They watch esports and they do online gambling.
Hmm.
And so, actually, funny enough, South Korea is the number one demographic or for this kind of activity.
Hmm. Interesting, man. That's cool, man. I can't say I know many people in my own like close circle that are huge into gaming on that level, but everyone's in Canada, everyone's got at least one console of something in their house. They're either playing PlayStation or Xbox or PC gaming, and gaming's huge, man. And it's cool to hear you compare those two and all the similarities, because it's true, man. Like, it's I come from sales, so I always look like, what's the product that I can sell with the biggest difference, the biggest margins to the most amount of people in the least amount of time. That's how I look at things. It's cool to see how you're kind of comparing those two and being like, I'm really into this, really passionate about this, want to make money. Where can I meet those two in the middle? So you've decided to get into this. So do you have like, what's kind of volume do you have going to the website right now? Like, are you tracking volume and Is that something you talk
Well,
about, or
no. Well, we're still trying to work with regulators right now on our license.
fair enough, man?
I can't really discuss it currently,
That's okay,
but
man.
as you say, compliance is sort of very difficult, especially when you're trying to work with cryptocurrency and then online gambling. Uh, you know, uh, most of the time they might know online gambling, but they might not know anything about
Yeah,
cryptocurrency.
and then when you start mixing the two, it's just red flags for those regulators. So,
But
cool. Sorry,
we've
go ahead.
been pretty lucky. Well, we've been pretty lucky on some of the regulation. Actually, one of our most exciting developments is that the U.S. legalized sports gambling,
Okay,
and that
when did that
opened
happen?
this past year. Trump did it. Trump
Okay,
signed an act. So in a couple of states are allowed to do sports gambling,
huh.
and so eventually, all these G2 esports, you're gonna have official Vegas lines for all of it.
Sweet. So Orange Man good? Is that what you're saying?
I think Orange Man is just simply an orange man. I don't like any man in power of a state.
Yeah.
So
Good freaking answer, man. Great way to answer that. Yeah, man. So do you follow the crypto community, like the news, what's going on? Do you follow that pretty actively, or?
not too seriously. I actually find a lot of I find most of the crypto stuff pretty funny, to tell you the truth. Uh,
it's
but
it's so entertaining.
but I think I know why though. I've been having some sort of tinfoil theories about a lot of things in the space, and I think Sean, I think guys like you are unintentionally or maybe intentionally, if you're nefarious, moving the markets because they like to say on CNBC when you're watching, market report, oh, look at this talking head. And it's like, Sean, I think you do the same thing. You're a talking head just for crypto stocks.
Cool,
And
man. Well, I mean, I just try to talk about cool shit. I don't really try to
well,
move the
no,
market in any way.
well, well, maybe not now, right? But what happens in 3 to 5 years when your YouTube channel has 500,000 subscribers
Hmm.
and you can start, actually, whether you think you have influence or whether you don't even believe it, you will have influence just by like fear network effect. And
Yeah,
I,
well, I mean, I hope so. I mean, I'm doing this stuff for a reason. 90% of that reason is I'm passionate about it, but the other 10% is, if I can create, you know, some income from this down the road, then that's incredible. But it's, now I'm in a position where everything I do in crypto is for fun. I make the memes, I do these videos, and
but memes are powerful though.
they
Think
are,
about this.
man.
I know someone in Venezuela, one of our good friends. We actually got him out of Venezuela because he was trading Pepe coins on Cryptopia in 1 month actually, and made a killing on it. And that's how he was able to escape Venezuela off a meme coin. So
Really, that's funny. Yeah, man, memes are honestly, I find it's way more powerful of a marketing tool than people even realize, man. Like it's a way to not only get a message but a feeling out about something, and have it relatable to other feelings that people have. So, when you're using a meme to express your hate for something, and you can relate that to a very like commonly felt expression of hate for something or love for something on the other side of that, or humor or sadness or any emotion, you can actually put them out usually with a meme. And I pump out like 5 to 10 memes a week, I think, right now. I mean, like, not to pat myself on the back, I think I'm one of the hardest memers in the game. But they get more engagement and more reach than anything else that I do in terms of.
well, I mean, think about it. Honestly, human attention span, the demographic for crypto holders, especially if you're not a developer, you're not following any developer. You're not looking at ZK Snark developments on a coin. You're like, oh, who's this conference? Where's this like
Mhm.
moon moment?
Yep.
Where's my partnership, bro? I
Yep.
need a MOU signed on with like a photo of something. And
Yeah.
so like I look at some things like you realize the coins that are the most toxic and shit because they have some of the best pumps. Like
Yeah.
Verge is probably one of the dumbest coins on the planet, but they pump fast. I hold Verge.
Yeah.
just because like my stop loss always hits on the profit. And it's just like same thing with Ripple. Like I know people who got incredibly wealthy off Ripple from 30 cents to $3.
Yep.
Now, do I think they're a crypto genius? Do I think like they're a dumbass? Probably. But then I think, wait, they probably watched CNBC. They saw this Ripple thing. They bought it. They thought it was the next thing like Bitcoin, and it was only 30 cents. Why not? I can buy like 1,000. And if you're a boomer with like a $500,000 house and mortgage, then who cares? But then, at the same time, it's okay because they might have been sold, but they finally got sucked in, whether it was through Ripple or shitcoin, or like you said, maybe it was some scam or whatever. They realized, all right, that person might have been a scam, but this in itself is not a scam. It's like saying the housing market is a scam or flipping houses is a scam. No,
Yeah.
just because one person sucks at it doesn't
Yeah.
mean like that's indicative for everyone
Yeah,
else.
and I think the word scam gets thrown around way too much these days, and you got to be careful when you use it. And same thing with scammer or calling someone a scammer. Like me and Ken Bozak, we're both pretty loud about calling out people we think are scammers, but in no way do I think either of us do it lightly or without just evidence and cause. But I'm the first one to like
Well,
call out a company, but I'm not going to do that after 5 minutes of looking into a company and being like, you know what, or because someone else told me that it's a scam. Like if you see me calling someone or something a scam, I've probably been looking into it for a few months.
I mean, it's like I think your most what is it, York Moulton scandal? The
Yeah, Ken definitely almost gotten a little scrap on that one. But see, a lot of people don't know is me and Ken Bozak almost got in a fight with York Molt a year prior to that on the blockchain cruise in the Mediterranean. York was on that fucking cruise, and me and Ken organized a panel, mostly Ken, and it had Tone Vase, Ivan on Tech, Michael Gu, Omar Baum, and Jimmy Song all on a panel with Ken Bozak, and we were talking about just a lot of cool stuff. It was honestly, the panel got thrown together for fun after all the speaking events and panels that were on the cruise ship, and it was like the best one out of all of them. It was the best one. It was the most organic, and I actually felt like I learned the most from that one. But we opened it up to Q&A, and York Molt grabs the mic and just self-promotes himself for like 5 minutes, and to the point where Ken got up out of his chair and was like, do you have a fucking question, or are you just here to talk about yourself? And we had to like literally grab the microphone from him. So
well, I think people misconcept, maybe that is, I will have to say that sounds like a very bad actor. I actually ran into Ken York Moulton DC actually, and
okay.
I thought, wow, this guy has really good hair. And
He
I was like,
does.
and you should be immediately suspicious of someone who takes care of their hair that well and that meticulous.
Yeah.
Either he is a genius crypto trader or he is that and also Patrick Bateman and will murder you for your private keys.
Yeah.
So, I try to avoid folks like that.
Yeah, that guy buys entirely too much conditioner. I guarantee
But,
you he spends 10 minutes in the hair care aisle at the drugstore.
well, I think there's a difference between like, self promotion like that, but then like where someone might call this person a scam because their company might have went under. It's like it's probability of startups. Like
Mm-hmm.
just because you bought one coin and it mooned because it got listed, does that mean in 3-5 years that coin is even going to be there?
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah.
Eventually,
Oh, did you lose your headphones?
yeah,
It's all good.
but eventually, projects fail, and probability wise, like 9 out of 10 projects, whether they're crypto or not, are going to fail. So if crypto is slightly more riskier than a traditional Silicon Valley startup, then you're going to have something highly likely to fail with an even premium risk of failing.
Yeah.
So
No,
if you
it's
think about the ones that have even survived, I say like for them to survive in these market conditions and regulatory uncertainty, you should be applauding them for even making it through this.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of companies catch a lot of shit, man, but like they're still helping this industry move forward. Like Ripple catches a lot of shit, but you know what? They're a company that's still around. They're doing shit. Like Roger Ver and Bitcoin Cash, they catch a lot of shit, but he did something in the space. So it's like, as long as you're not straight up
Well,
like
okay,
scamming.
so the fear, the thing I get, I think Roger Ver gets a lot of unfair slack because like unfair heat from the recent community. Because like if you only known Roger Ver from 2017
Yeah,
and then forth on, you would think he was like some like Austin Powers, like Dr. Evil, like maniacal like person. You would like straight up think he was like the worst evil person. But then
yeah.
you didn't realize Dr. Evil had a little me and he was Craig Wright. And and in reality
I
it's
feel
even
like I need
worse.
to make a meme of this now.
But like I like Roger's been in the game since 2011. He was one of the first people to actually call out Mt. Gox as a unreputable exchange in Japan.
Hmm.
His business was out of Japan, and the reason he was called Bitcoin Jesus was for so long. I don't know, for almost 2, 3, 4 years, he gave what $5 or $1 worth of Bitcoin to over maybe 10,000 people, like a ridiculous amount of people. I know a lot of my good friends were actually one of the first people to receive their Bitcoin from Roger.
Wow.
And funny enough, a lot of them have made a fuck ton of money off that. It was like that $5 turned into almost 1,000 or 1,500 for some, depending
Yeah.
on how early they got it. And some of them have actually never even touched the original Bitcoin when they first transferred it. They've lived off just the forks, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, all of these other forks.
Yep.
That's like how many people have actually not just created value and wealth for themselves, but like planted seeds for everyone else.
Hmm.
And like I think that everyone, yeah, at certain points, everyone has their philosophical beliefs. I think Bitcoin Cash has certain merits because, privacy concerning wise, SegWit and Lightning has some concerns, and it's not really a true, the true P2P cash.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, I mean, that's the beauty of this space and the beauty of crypto and the beauty of not being a maximalist is there's options out there, man. We don't all have to be using Bitcoin. We don't all have to be using Bitcoin Cash or Ripple or Litecoin. We are free to make our own decisions. You know what I mean? And I mean, I'm assuming you're in the crypto space as well, man. You've probably run into some pretty hardcore maximalists that are like, only Bitcoin, that's the only blockchain we need, and no, no, no. And I'm definitely like as far away from that as I can be. But have you ever run in and dealt with like really extreme maximalism before?
I mean, if you think about it, there's like the famous quote about a politicians. It's like never trust a government or a politician where their job is on the line for them to not tell the truth. So, like, if you have a house that you just bought or you just mortgaged all your Bitcoin on a loan and then, got your Lambo of your dreams, I would say you would have no reason but to be a maximalist
Yeah.
for your own
So,
self-preservation.
so what do you think about Charlie Lee getting rid of all the Litecoins? His reason behind it was because he didn't want to be in a position where people could think he was manipulating the market.
Yeah, and also I wouldn't want to be like constantly like the amount of scrutiny he gets over his coin because Litecoin doesn't have he doesn't have the benefit of just being a programmable coin. He doesn't have the Ethereum community. People aren't really building on Litecoin if you
Yeah,
actually think
exactly.
about it. So in reality, the only thing you have in that is your cult of personality. But like out of all the cult of personalities, I mean, Charlie Lee has created two unicorns. If you think about it, one person has created their own fork of Bitcoin, made that into $1 billion market cap, was also the third employee at Coinbase that became $1 billion unicorn.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know really what else you would want out of the guy, especially how transparent he was
Yeah.
on the top.
I respect the hell out of Charlie Lee. He's actually coming on the podcast in the next couple of weeks.
So like I think like what Charlie did was like the most honest thing. He called it the top and he got called the shill. People were saying that you like boo Charlie Lee. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? It's
Yeah.
like if Satoshi himself told you this was a bubble, you should probably sell right now, and you didn't do it. And then like afterwards, when what he told you would happen happens, you just stay butthurt at him. It's like
That's like the crypto community in a whole right there.
that's inherently so toxic in itself, and just like it feels like I'm on Reddit threads, Wall Street bets, and and I think that's the problem with cryptocurrencies is people focus too much on the price. They focus so much
Yeah.
on the price, but they ignore, like, I think Vitalik talked about it best. He said, I would quit Ethereum, but then if that would mean that if someone is building an identity platform for refugees in Palestine and they were using Ethereum to validate it globally, just because some Twitter trolls piss me off doesn't mean I need to stop working on something that can make real change.
Yeah.
And I think all the price talk on crypto is like either it's a 0-1 game. Either you believe Bitcoin is going to hit $1 million or not. There's no real in between.
Yeah.
So if you believe in that, then you don't care about anything else.
Do you think Bitcoin will hit $1 million?
Yeah, of course.
Me too, man. Me too. I think it'll be more than $1 million.
Well, I mean, right now, I think the next one, like, we're gonna have it up to like, around, I think 66,000 will be the next Bitcoin drop.
I love how you're like trying to make it seem like just some random number. You're like 66,000 precisely, not
Well,
like
no,
60 to 70.
I did some like small TA, and that's a pretty much a perfect Fibonacci bounce.
Nice, man. And what's your
Fibonacci retracement? Sorry.
What's your estimated timeline for that?
2021, always the halving.
Yeah.
Pretty much, I think right now all of the price is going to get really manipulated all the way, it's going to stay suppressed or even go down all the way up into halving.
And you know what? I'm banking on that.
As you should, everyone talks about, oh, I wish I got Bitcoin earlier, or like, oh, when can I get cheap coins now? It's like, well, if you think it's gonna hit 100K, or like, you're McAfee where your dick's on the line, you'd probably be scooping as many coins as you can now.
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to John about that like 2 weeks ago. I had him on the podcast, and I was like, John, what's going on with this thing? This whole dick eating thing.
Hold on. I'll put this on. I got my McAfee 2020 pin.
Nice. I need one of those. I've got a Nakamoto for president one, but I need the McAfee for 2020. Dude, what a weird guy. It's cool. That's the thing I love about crypto and the fact that that's sick. Where'd you get that?
I met one of his campaign staffers, McAfee for at Consensus.
Oh, cool. Yeah, what an interesting guy. But it's just cool that I'm honored that I've had the opportunity to talk to the people I have, and putting myself out there. I've had people that have inspired me to like start this YouTube show and just start creating content, doing videos. And I've had the opportunity to interview Andreas Antonopoulos, John McAfee. I got Charlie Lee coming on, and then I get the chance to like talk to people like you too, and just meet so many cool people in the space. And crypto's so young. It's so small. It's only been around, it's over 10 years now. And it's like, people need to realize that the worst time to buy Bitcoin is never, and the best time is now.
I mean, I'm just hoping, eventually I think that this is going to have it's going to have its singularity moment of, everything's exponential.
Mhm.
And so every bull run has made the previous bull run seem small, like a hill. So if you thought what we experienced was crazy, the next one should be even crazier.
Yeah.
And if that's not indicative, then think about this, like Facebook, Libra, and China has literally proven that these people, state level governments, are getting involved. And eventually cryptocurrencies are going to be debated and watched just as much as we watch federal interest rates, because it will have it will become so large. Right now, crypto is only 5% of the global financial market.
Yeah.
But if it ever even gets close to 4x, you have to think people like Charlie Lee will have very wide-ranging effects on people
Yeah.
and what they do. So, and arguably, they're even more centralized, even though it's a decentralized currencies. These exchanges and cult of personalities of around founders has made it where they're more powerful than Jerome Powell is over US dollar.
Yep.
At the end of the day, Jerome Powell will be replaced, and someone will be, there'll be another Alan Greenspan, there'll be another person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, or even IMF, the most controlling financial institute, there'll be another Christine Lagarde, right? But the problem is there'll never be another Charlie Lee.
Yeah.
There'll never be another Vitalik.
Yep.
So, but then what are you going to do? You're going to have other coins. You might be a Dan Larimer where you have a BitShares, Steemit, EOS. You have three of the largest DPoS networks or even on-chain activity networks created. So, and this is just like the early stages.
Yep.
I imagine in 10 years, pretty much I think Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to be one of the few coins that are going to be left around.
Yep.
Everything else won't have liquidity.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the big issue. You're gonna have all the coins in the world, but if no one wants to buy them, then you're kind of dead in the water, right? So that's cool, man. I think it'd be cool to like maybe do another one of these videos in 6 months and see where we are from now to then. And why don't you give a little shout out to Yung.Bet and just like where people can find it, and do you guys have any social media pages for it, or?
No, not currently. Just keep their eye out on Yung.Bet. They can just check out the website. We're going to be coming out with more material pretty soon here. And we're hoping to get launched by end of mid 2020.
But it's live now though, right? Like people can go on and use it now?
Oh no, it's not live. We
Oh,
had
it's
to
not
take
live
it out.
yet. Okay, cool, man. So, but it's going to be yung.bet, yung.bet. That's where people are going to be able to go once it's live.
Yep, and hopefully we will be the gaming spot for esports gambling and a lot of other fun things.
Well, good luck, man. I wish you nothing but the best of luck. Keep me posted with what's going on. I always want to hear success stories from friends and people in the community. And just for my own goodwill, I'm going to give a shout out to a couple companies right now that I'm either working with or just companies that I'm using. So Epic Cash is really cool, private, anonymous internet cash. Uptrend.com is like a new social media platform site. I do a lot of posting on there. I'm actually getting way more engagement on Uptrend than I am on.
Wait, so is it better than Steemit? How do you like it?
I've never used Steemit, to be honest with you, but Uptrend with 2 N's. I have my link in the description of all my YouTube videos if you want to check it out. But it's almost like Reddit and Facebook kind of smashed together with Steemit. So you're earning coins for upvoting. And I'm getting anywhere from like 5 to 15,000 views on videos that I put up on there. So it's really kind of crypto focused, which is nice. And then presearch.io is another one that this is like something I use every single day. It's I use it as my main browser and my search engine. And every time you search something, you actually earn a little bit of their crypto. SwissKey is a new. Do you ever use Edge Wallet?
Yeah, I have.
So SwissKey is they've basically white labeled Edge Wallet, added some new security features, and also kind of improved on the UX, so it's a little easier to use, a little nicer on
They're
the eyeballs.
non-custodial, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Non-custodial.
Yeah, so SwissKey.io, they're going to be live within the next 2 months, but they're beta testing now. So if anyone wants to help us beta test and stress test SwissKey, just send me a message and I'll give you the link. It's also on their Facebook page. Voltoro.com, which is an exchange that I've been using while I'm teaching myself a little bit about trading. Voltoro.com, they allow you to actually use gold in the same way that you would use Tether. So you can go in and out of trades into gold, and they use the largest gold custodial service in Europe, which is Brinks. So all the gold is insured, and you can actually just go on there to buy gold with crypto as well. So if you want to buy gold, silver, any other, I think there's like 5 precious metals that they sell on there. You can either hold it in a trade, or you can get physical gold shipped to you, I think anywhere in the world. So and then Stroken.com is is a new project that I'm a supporter of, because it's bounty-based adult videos. They're going to be going live within the next couple of weeks, but they're based out of Florida, and I'm a huge supporter of the guys that are working on that project and making it happen, because it's 2019. Who
I
says we're not?
support cam girls equality.
Who says we're not allowed to talk about porn? It's 2019.
I support cam girls and cam boys and cam days and
Cam
all
attack helicopters, all
cam
32.
lobsters. Wait, you're Canadian. You like your lobsters. You don't want to
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, man. I mean, it's it's the world's changing, man. There's lots of industries out there, and I'm not someone who's shy to support my friends that work in those industries. So
Hey, so you asked me earlier if I thought Orange Man was bad, and I wanted to tell you, out of I have some anarcho capitalist leanings, but I stole this from Vitalik himself,
okay.
and I like to describe myself as a cuckservative. You're fiscally conservative, socially liberal, and I think it's the best way to live, and you gotta live in the future.
Absolutely, man. Well, listen, in the near future, we're going to do another video and talk more about the future, but thanks for coming on the show, man. And if there's anything you want me to throw in the description box, send me a message. And everyone who's watching, if you watched all the way to the end here, thanks so much. Appreciate you guys' support so much. Make sure you share these videos around if you liked it, and keep in mind, nothing we talked about on the video is financial advice. So, I can't say this enough. Don't take financial advice from me. I talk about stuff I think is cool, and I really expect everyone to do their own research, look into things before they get involved. But I'm always here to answer questions. So if you guys ever want to know anything, just shoot me a message. But Toma, thanks for coming on, man. I hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy what's left of it. And we will talk soon.
You too. Thanks for having me, Sean.
Take care.